It's Shirley with Spirit of Matter. And the topic of today, we have a survivor of MK Ultra in Stanford University. So the MK Ultra Academy began to show up. It's very appropriate for Pluto at the end of Capricorn. We have right now very, 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 very protective skies, under which I'm going to ask for the assistance of those who are interested. As a person who has been exposed to the false cancer research and the correct cancer research, where the funding stops for the people who basically find cure. We have a survivor that needs your help. Please hop on to the Imagination podcast, and you have the testimony and the link. I'm not affiliated with the podcast. This is just me watching this, and I've done. I didn't finish the thesis for obvious reasons. Thesis on philosophy of medicine. I ran into study cases. My entire knowledge about this cancer research was something that got to me from that time. So it's very close to my heart. You know that I'm MK Ultra survivor of academy, and after I went to therapy, then also therapy. And you know that is directly linked to the 2030 agenda. They were experimenting on people before the experiment on robots, and all kinds of things. So a fellow survivor has had a case, okay, from Stanford University. You really want to listen to his testimony. I haven't listened yet. I just want to ask for help for him. So if you can hop onto the Imagination podcast on YouTube or on Instagram or BitChute, there's the link for donation. And he is not able to turn to, regular medicine because he's MK Ultra survivor. Yes, that is why it's needed to do it privat. That is upcoming case. There was Dr. Mengele type of experiments done on this person, and you need to know that because this is your medicine. This is your medical insurance. This is the medicine you pay $10,000 for, and more, and $100,000 for, and more. And you go to the best doctor, the one that studies, okay, maybe a major in Stanford, Ivy League, okay, and I'm sharing the testimonial, okay, and he has the power of, he spoke the truth. In Hebrew we say emet dibauti, okay, this principle, this juristic principle is standing in favor of him. And for favor of public is must. If you run into this, is a must. If you have podcast or something like that, you must share. If you run into this information and you don't share it, you're basically committing offense of avoiding access to medicine, life-saving medicine from people, okay, committing criminal offense. You must understand that. Because favor of public here is more important than anything else. The favor of the public to know more important than anything, and you have obligation, a legal obligation. Now, because you and I are just citizens, we're not CNN, we're not BBC, and we cannot be. Yes? But if you run into such case and you don't share it, you commit an illegal offense. If you have podcast, if you have something that anyway touches that, committing legal offense of avoidance of the people who censor okay, the committing legal offense of avoiding access to information, the life-saving information. It's legal offense. A very serious offense because it's life-saving information and exposing a corruption in medical system and Ivy League. Okay, if you and mind you, if you think, oh, this person is imagining, no. For psychosis, the cure is housing first and open dialogue. You believe the person testimonial and you give housing first so that they can independently have ability to work and without any timestamp, okay, so they can live, so they know that they have a house for no matter what. Then even if they had voices, even if they had whatever, they begin to heal. These two factors are important. Avoiding a person housing first and belief in the testimonial, so whichever method of treatment, Dr. Mengele, pyramidal or extra pyramidal, okay, this is committing legal offense of avoiding life-saving medical treatment from person, okay, because if housing first, supportive nervous system, and open dialogue, and belief in the person, okay, heals psychosis, by the way, without pills, because essentially he was not imagining. That's why it works, okay? He comes to the senses because, okay, it's not that the mind is fucked up, it's that's life, okay? And so avoiding these conditions is committing medical offense of avoiding life-saving medicine from people who needed that. And by the way, when they are treated with this pyramidal or extra pyramidal, okay, antipsychotics or whatever, they are not given, they are also avoided medical condition. Remember when I told you? Had person began to feel something harshness in the heart, okay, should be taken to immediate medical care, okay, and was told, no, you cannot go, it's not from the pills, it's nothing. And for women, we know signs for heart attack are different than for men. And we know that the pills cause heart attack. Hey, it was there before COVID, you didn't listen. You believed the doctors, you believed that the people imagine, you believed that somebody has authority over a person other than the person. And you believe it's in their favor that they're gonna die if not this. No. Because if they would say, oh, government surveils me, or there was this experiment or that experiment, what you would say? You're imagining. Cannot be. You're paranoia. Good morning. October 1st, we're going to have a new head of NATO. He's a survivor of this death camp, but if he told you, you would think he's imagining. Mkultra. It's not. Go Mama versus Mafia. Watch Lars' testimony. And by the way, she's the one who's doing something for these children outside of the government. Or you want to go to the triangles? Go to the triangles. Go to the triangle. You won't get the kids. You won't get the kids. What you have to understand, I have to be honest with you. You cannot litigate in a Discord because this court, they're trained in Stanford, in Ivy League. They have to do snuff films structurally, no matter the person, the position. Snuff films of raped, tortured children. But they rape, tortured children on camera so they can be caught in order to be in this position and have to do multiple films. So there's enough evidence, and they have to renew them every once in a while because, you know, the law. It has to be fresh. If you're Supreme Court judge, this is what you have to do. If you don't believe Hans Medma, then go litigate in court. Good luck. Then imagine what it takes for to be judge. I don't want to think about other things. Okay? And I told this story on Instagram, had a roommate of friend, he was studying math. Genius student, genius, nothing bad word genius. Okay? My friend who was genius, he said this person more genius than you and me together. And he was. Then, moved with his boyfriend. He would travel to conferences, to Finland, to this, to that. We learned, teach us some Finnish. And I tried to count. I remember oxy, I don't even remember what is this. Then, one day my friend comes, tell me, you know what? They caught Liran. Him and his boyfriend, they were raping a child, a boy, young boy, on camera, recorded it. I did not know, I did not connect not between them what happened to me and this, nothing, because you don't think. Who would think that? But today I understand, because he would go to these conferences, you need the grants, you need this, you need that. To be research in academia and math is very competitive. You need to be certain rank in secret society. And that's what he was asked to do, a student, just a student, okay? Just student. He needed to do this. Okay? We don't know. Maybe there were death threats. We don't know what's going on. We don't know the picture. He needs to talk. But will you believe him when he talks? But in any case, he has to be away from children all his life. Cannot be parent, cannot be anything. And very, very rightfully so. Very rightfully so. Because to risk the life of a child like this, you don't want to give him chance again to do this. Whatever next rank, next this, next that, you cannot control person's secret society, you cannot control his secret. And I've seen lawyers defend the return of sex offenders to society without saying a word about recovery. Would they die otherwise? Maybe they are children of people who were in the cult. In Germany, they legalized the pedophilia. Okay, it's your children. 2030 has agenda to your children to teach them to have sex with adults. Agenda. You want to listen to Anneke Lucas of what this agenda means. You thought the people were imagining, now all the policy is installed. Everything is installed. Your country is sold. You don't have passport. You don't have passport. Your country is sold. Even people who tend to that, okay, cold cases. Cassandra, you think you will find her documents. You won't. She was murdered for her documents as well. Of course. So what documents will you find? And where? Somebody holds the documents. Hey, look, here are the documents. Here what I did with them. Offshore business, money laundering, organ trade, kidnap of children. See testimonial of Ronald Bernard. This is a man who speaks. What he paid to speak, because he was kidnapped like this by the welfare. His mama couldn't love anyone before she loved her son? Why couldn't love her husband? We don't know. She wasn't even in touch with what she can say yes, no, maybe to. How would she know if she's in love? And when she wanted to divorce, the husband said, I will murder you and baby, Ronald Bernard, and kill myself. He found out this several decades later, the last part. So had to live with, why did mama allowed for to take the child? Because otherwise child would be murdered. And he was raped in church. That's his story. Listen to him as he tells it. And then he was working for banks. Then he was working for all these companies. Then he was with the Luciferians. Then he was with all these things. Until he saw what they do to children, he had to do it himself. He said, no, this I don't do. He was tortured. Tried to kill himself. Who knew about what we know today, erotic intelligence? Who knew about that? Nobody. Nobody. In this economy? So now that the testimonies come, Mkultra Academy, Stanford, Ivy League, cancer research, I tell you. What did I tell you about cancer? Okay. Please hop on to Imagination Podcast. Help this person. And for the children, check Ronald Bernard of what his project is. Make sure no welfare and so on, because I don't think he would do it with welfare after what happened to him as child. And to Mama versus Mafia. Okay, through the verse te gaan. Her, of course, without welfare, without Robobank. Very, very innovative, okay? That's what was done to her. And if you in Netherlands, it was your children are of the 1100, go to Trudy. Don't go to the triangles. Don't go to the pyramid. Okay? Yes, this right of public to know is more important than any law. This is why from the Me Too, when they began to speak, I spoke truth was protective of them, even if they didn't file at the police, because police was a part of those who cooperated with offenders, okay? And this could be nice people at police, but it's enough for one infiltrated person at the police station to make bad judgment, okay? To interfere and to understand this is organized crime. This for right of public to know is more important, because it's very difficult for one person to go against the organized crime and so on. So there's no juristic litigation, but the judges right now, because they are studying in these academies, okay, they need to be trained in academy, okay, we want an untrained judge. Then for the rules of these secret societies, the structure of the secret society is not the judge, it's not the person. Okay, many of them are born into cults. They are the expendable children grown. Okay, if it's done to them, they were raped, they were this, they were that. So like, you don't want to be continuously raped and so on, go and do that. Okay, and this is what they do also in the Second World War, and now they plan a third one. So it's not about off with their heads. It's about abolishing this practice and understanding that structurally a Supreme Court judge is not appropriate for judging you, because they had to do for all these things that are involved in your offense. Okay, so you have conflict of interest with the juristic system as it is today. A conflict of interest with the WHO. This is the reason for why research was stopped. Okay, and again, of public interest here is first importance. First importance, public interest. And for the students to study law, the litigators, okay, same. If they studied in an academia, okay, we cannot prove that there's no secret society there. We cannot prove there's no secret society there, okay? And it's not about the lawyer. It's not about the person. Sometimes many of them are children of the cult. So, like I said, if you don't want to be but you have to do something and so on. There can be dissociation. There can be multiple personalities. There can be many things that you cannot identify because of this mind control program. If you want to listen to Imagination podcast, so again, it's not about off with their heads. It's about the right to exit violence. And if you think, oh, this person crazy, this person imagining, the person so, housing first, and the belief in this person is cure to schizophrenia. This is open dialogue approach, housing first approach as a practice in Finland, but we know there was infiltration of Finland as well, even before Putinization or whatever. I'm not claiming anything bad of Putin. Maybe he actually wants to do that in Russia. This would be, he will be known as the leader of the century if he did that. Okay, no, he did good infrastructures, was very good for remedy for his Chiron in the fourth house in Capricorn, and that made me believe his actual chart is there. So we think, oh, it's Russia, they had everything. No, if he did infrastructure for entire country and so on, then very likely this Chiron in the fourth house, in the house of infrastructure and so on, is correct. So this is in favor of Putin. Okay, there's some transparency that we didn't expect there to be. And of course, he has to deal with this Mkultra just as the next person. So yes, that's one thing, but none of these people can work in Age of Aquarius without the consent of with the people and the consent to receive correct information, the consent to when you receive that. Of course, I could tell you, committing legal offense if you had people access to right information. Yes, but I don't believe in speaking in fear. Because to give you good information and because to give you good infrastructure and to give you good housing first and to give you good listening, okay, to you. It's not forcing you to speak. Forcing you to speak is exactly the same method as the pyramidal. I would need for your readiness, I would need for your consent. I cannot do anything without, I cannot put you in whichever place I choose. No, it's your consent needed. And that's the language I speak. I come from Israel. We had Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, very likely have been called affiliated, otherwise could not be Prime Minister, attempted to do something like peace agreement with Palestine. He was supposedly murdered by Israeli citizen, intelligence, not intelligence. And one thing is you cannot force peace agreement if people don't agree. Even if it sounds like a good idea, still people have to agree, but everybody has to have right of exit from cult, secret society, religion, violence. And if housing first kills schizophrenia, then there really isn't any mental condition that justifies oppression. Thank you for watching.